Welcome to Outlaws. So I'm trying to figure out the floors on the unibody, and I need to put some bracing underneath here. I got the bracing here. I just got to get it cleaned up and get it welded in, and it'll slide up underneath the body here on both sides, and then go across, go over the transmission, you know, the transmission hump and all that. But the first panel I started building, and then I cut out the spot for the driveline because they go up through the floor, so it'll have a little transmission tunnel or transmission loop, whatever you want to call it, tunnel. But it's got to come forward here, and then you can see I have 2-inch, 2 1/4 space right here, because the floor is gonna, sorry about the crab cam work, the floor is gonna drop down right here 2 1/4 inch. So it'll come forward like this, and then drop down, and then go meet the Crown Vic floor, which is right there. And then obviously this will get cut, because I just cut this with a plasma cutter. It'll get cut from here all the way across, nice and clean. When I pull the body off, I just can't do it with all the wiring and stuff in here and all the insulation and everything right here. I don't want to catch it on fire. So I'll put a laser in here and get a really nice line, and then cut a line all the way across with a die grinder or a cutoff wheel. But this has a spot here that comes up, and it's like 30 degrees or something, and then there's like a 45 right here, and you can see it's like 1 inch from here to here, and then it goes across here. So I've been building the panel for the floor, and the bead roller that I used is the one that I built. I showed you guys that bead roller. It works really, really well. I'm really happy with it. And I put the bead in here, so it's gonna have some kind of shape, and then right here is gonna be the notch for the transmission or the driveline and transmission tail shaft. So that's where the tunnel will start, but obviously this will have to be widened out to about where that line is. And then I got that notch here. This one still has to be done, but I have the 1-inch notch. It goes across. I have it clecoed. There's holes right here where I cleco it in the panel inside the truck. So when I drop it in there, I just put the clecos in there. And right now what I'm doing is I took a piece of 5/8 conduit, electrical conduit, and I'm bending it over right here, so it's got a nice smooth radius. And then that's gonna come down 2 1/4 inches from here like this. And then I'll have another bend here that's gonna bring this floor up like this. So it's gonna come like that, drop down 45, and then come out. Well, I don't know if it'll be a 45, but whatever. And that's what I'm working on right now. And then from the front where the bead is here, I'm not sure if I have to widen it a little bit more because it's hitting pretty hard. I had to cut these notches out. It was hitting the transmission. So I might have to widen this a little bit, so I'll have to measure and get that cut. But that's where the transmission tunnel is gonna go. It'll go right over the top of that, and then I'm gonna try to match up the beads and make something look nice in there, you know? So just kind of building it as I go. So I got 2 1/4 drop, and this is about a 45 somewhere in there, and it's got a nice radius, or it's rounded nicely. I'll have to mess around with this section here. I'll have to mess around with it dimpled a little bit right there, which I knew it would, but I'll do that with a dapping tool, corking or caulking tool with a hammer, and just kind of you know, float that low spot out a little bit with hammer and dolly and whatever, and clean it up, make it look nice. And then right here, I don't know if you can see that, it kind of come up a little bit, so I'll have to tap this down, make it look nice. That way the floor is clean looking when it's all done, because this is gonna get that sound deadener all over it, so you probably won't see this, but you know, it's one of them things, if a person's gonna look up underneath the car or it's on the lift, if this truck is up on a lift or something, you know, it'll look professional. It won't look all rigged and stupid looking. So everything will look nice when it's done. So the next thing is, let me flip this camera around. So now I got my 2 1/4 inch mark is what I'm gonna go with. This is the 45 here. And I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna run this piece of 5/8 conduit here and pull this out, so that actually the conduit will have to go on the front of this now. And that way it's got a 2 1/4 inch drop, and then it's got a nice radius coming back to the floor. So that'll probably look pretty damn nice. You know, I want it to have a nice clean transition from here and then come out and go towards that Crown Vic floor. So we'll see what happens. So I just used a V-block to hold the conduit. And then this is the C-clamp that I modified, that I welded the socket to, so it's got a 3/8 socket. You can run a ratchet or a impact on it. So now I got to figure out my jig to get out of the way, you prick. I need to figure out my jig to bend this up after I get it marked. It'll be tricky. Almost dropped the damn camera. But this is sagging down just from the weight. So I need to get this propped up and whatever, so it's nice and even, run a level across it, and then I'll get my line on there. All right, this took a little bit of finagling, but I took my clamps, and where this kick up is, I put a 1, 2, 3 block underneath here, clamped it to the table. I did the same thing over there on that side. And then I had some 1-inch pieces of solid steel. I clamped it to the table because I'm gonna be pulling down on this, and that end wants to pop up. And then you can see sorry about that, crappy camera work. You can see the 5/8 tubing right here. And this is my line here that goes all the way across on the other side. And it hits in the center of that tubing, and that's what I wanted. And I did the same thing. I put a clamp here, so that tubing's not moving. And then it's clamped here also, and then another 1-inch block. And then I put a mark here, flipped from the other side, and it hits on the center. So now I can go ahead and bend this down. All right, let's see if we can get it on camera. I was trying to find a good angle over here, but real bad glares from the light and stuff, so. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. So now I have that 45 or whatever it is here, whatever angle this is, and then it comes back out to 90 so that the floor will be flat in front of the seat panel or seat rest, I guess you call it, mount. This is where the seat's gonna mount. And then this is pretty close here on both sides. So that we have our angle now. Kind of hard to do with one hand. Anyways, you guys get the picture. And then this will be raised up, you know, almost over the top of that drive line so that the seat sits like this, or the seat pan, and then it'll have that dip that comes down, and then that'll meet the floor in the front. And then obviously I'll have to build all the panels right here. These are gonna come up from here and meet over with these panels here. And then I'll have to TIG weld a seam, which I didn't want to do, but very difficult to build all these different angles all in one. So, and then this one here, there's another angle here where I'll have to come in a 1/2 inch and put this on the metal brake and bend it down so that it's matching this angle here. But anyways, I'll film some more on this floor build soon. I'm gonna keep this video short. Thanks for watching.